Going back to all like the addiction stuff and all that stuff, because I was like, this is what I knew that helped me.
Yeah.
And then I started meeting these kids going, okay, they were like me, they act like me, they were doing things like me as a kid. And I'm like, you know what? I think it's powerful to put a paintbrush in a kid's hand or a guitar. I want to show what helped me. Really, it was all my story of how I grew up, who I was to my sobriety. All I can do is offer this, And then I started realizing pretty quickly a lot of these kids have some amazing talent they had no clue about. Well, they have nobody telling them they're even worth anything. We have kids sleeping on our stairs, or kids overdosing and dying, And I just started noticing these kids like, oh, I can do it. And then you're like, well, we're kind of doing math right now. What do you mean? Well, I mean, there's a lot of geometry and this and that and photography. There's, when you're in the darkroom processing, there's chemistry. That was empowering to them too. Like, oh, okay, a lot of kids I did a photojournalism class, and most of it was like, okay, I know you guys can make photographs and stuff. I want to see how you read and write. And, and it was more of just like to see where these kids were at. These kids were reading at first grade, kindergarten levels. And that was what was preventing them being successful in school. So through art and through that, it was like, okay, let's write about this picture. I don't care what your grammar looks like. I don't care what your spelling looks like. Tell me what you see when you see this picture. Or write a story about your story in this picture. Art is stories,
Yeah.
And that's where I would see what these kids are. And then you would empower them from that and going, okay, cool. This is rad. Like, yeah, I get it, man. You're dyslexic. You're this. It wasn't because you're stupid. It wasn't because it was because of what happened in your life, or maybe you just had, you were born with it or whatever. And then you start empowering these kids.